Mainit na balita.
What do you make of Representative Abante criticizing you, how you conducted yourself?
Actually, I have refrained from commenting on how QuadCom conducts its hearings. Pero siguro, I will just allow that as a constituent Abante. Siguro ganun na lang. I will just accept his criticism because he is also my constituent. Diba, national? Yung QuadCom na yan, why don't they just subpoena the former president and require his appearance before them? Ang dami rin nila kasing cheche boreche. Committee hearing ito sa QuadCom, ang bilis ng trigger happy sila ron sa pagdating sa contempt puno na yata ngayon detention center nila, puno na.
So I want your reaction. Let's start first with representatives from the House Quad Committee, specifically Representative Abante and Representative Dan Fernandez, criticizing how the Senate hearing was conducted. And you heard Representative Abante stating that, in effect, Duterte was given so much leeway, right? In effect, there was a compromise in the hearings that his allies were allowed to take over. Let's start with that, Senator.
Well, number one, the so-called allies really outnumbered let's label the other side, the non-allies. The allies outnumbered the non-allies in a majority ruled proceeding. Then the majority has the advantage. So yun. And then pagdating siguro sa given too much leeway because former President Duterte became the star personality there because we were also supposed to share the time, the limelight with Garma, Leonardo, and the victim families, and even Kerwin Espinosa. Ganun sana yun Marang in my mind, there were really five compartments or five segments. So President Duterte, Garma, Leonardo, victim families, and Espinosa. So what happened? Wala yung tatlo. So the time allotted supposed to have been given to the three who were absent. I just decided to let the former president just get this time because yung iba kasi like yung sila Senator Laila de Lima, nag-commit naman sila that they can attend the subsequent hearings. Attorney Shell Jokno, Attorney Father Flavi, and the victims, they can attend in the next hearings. So I just took advantage. Naging practical lang po ako na andyan sa harap namin yung isang former president na actually sabi nila first time daw nag-appear isang former president sa Senate hearing. So it must be a rare occasion and very difficult to invite a former president to keep on coming back. So ganun po nangyari yun. So we just took advantage. So gave him time. Pero may time limit pa rin because we all had our prior commitments that day. So we also had to stop the hearing at a certain time.
Okay, I think let's get specific here. Would you have done anything differently? It seems that the criticism of these representatives is how you conducted the hearing. Yun ang una kong tanong ko. Should you have been tougher on the former president? Should you have interrupted him? What do you think, Senator?
Siguro yung number one is probably tama si Senate President Chis Escudero that I got desensitized about the cursing. And by his, I saw an interview na he counted the curse words around, sabi niya 21. And I only intended to allow one. So nalusutan po ako ng 20. So yun po, isa yun. Pero yung rambling, kunyari the witness is rambling, I'll give some allowance. I give some allowance because we want to get as much information from this person as possible. So let him testify freely according to his style and not unnecessarily interrupt him. So, yun siguro. Pero nang tapos, pansin natin, that's not only the rambling but also the repetition. So, pinayagan ko na rin yun because nag-extend din naman kasi ako ng mga around 2 hours. Eh. So, binigay ko na po sa kanya yung 2 hours na yun.
Okay, let's talk about that. Do you believe the president was rambling? Or frankly speaking, by letting him speak, he put himself in trouble?
As the person who will write the draft of the committee report, so I want to ask for understanding that I cannot yet right now reveal all of my thoughts, all of my reactions kasi isusulat ko po 'yan. Basta what has happened is that the testimony was under oath. Therefore, those of us who will now go over the testimony because we have the obligation to write a report and recommend something, we will treat all of his statements as serious statements. Unless he qualified the sentence as the following sentence is a joke, then we will really treat it like a joke. But if it's not qualified as a joke, that is an under oath statement. So dadaanan po namin yun. And even if let us say the sentence is about this subject matter and then the second sentence negates or contradicts the first sentence, we will have to take it into context. Babasahin po namin yan. Ano ba yung konteksto? So, and then the former president cannot control our decision-making process. Kung ano ang paniniwalaan namin sa lahat ng sinabi niya, nasa sa amin na po yun. Hindi niya kami madidiktahan ano dyan ang dapat namin paniwalaan.
Bao, do you believe that by letting the president speak, he revealed more?
He revealed a lot because number one, that is his way of speaking. If you interrupt him, then he will now restart. He will start again from the original thought, and we just keep on repeating what has been stated before you interrupted him. So you let him speak, you get more information, you get more details, you get more kwento. So I'm using words lang, Karen, objectively because I will, as the subcommittee chairman, I believe it is my responsibility to come up with the first draft of the subcommittee report. Then, sinicirculate ngayon yan. Mag-agree yung iba, magdi-disagree yung iba.
Now, what do you make of Representative Abante? We often talk about inter-parliamentary courtesy. What do you make of Representative Abante criticizing you, how you conducted yourself when, let's face it, you and other colleagues don't criticize the lower house, or now they conduct their own hearings?
Ako nga, actually, I have refrained from commenting on how QuadCom conducts its hearings. Pero siguro, I will just allow that as a constituent Abante. Siguro, ganun na lang. I will just accept his criticism because he is also my constituent. Diba, national yung constituency namin eh. So, he is my constituent, our constituent. So, he has the right to criticize us. Pero ganito na lang kasi, yung QuadCom na yan, why don't they just subpoena the former president and require his appearance before them? Ang dami rin nila kasing cheche-boreche na invite, not invite, not invite. Subpoena nyo na lang. And then, pag nandiyan na sa harap ninyo, then get the information that you want to get. And I hope that your proceedings will be more perfect than ours.
Okay, so I want to ask you this. You have Representative Robert Ace Barbers now saying that Duterte didn't look like he was of frail health when he attended the Senate probe. And he said that he was hoping that Duterte would show up at the next QuadCom hearing. Ang tanong ko, if the QuadCom subpoenas the former president and he refuses to appear, given he is a former president, can you actually cite him in contempt or have him arrested Is that allowed?
House rules, can we ask them about their house rules?
Okay.
Pero
So magkaiba yun.
let me explain the subcommittee's rule. Kasi I am not an ordinary committee, I'm just a subcommittee. Actually, the subcommittee has been deprived of the power to cite in contempt. Because that's the section 20 of our rule. So siguro doon lang yung mga tao na nakita nila na
Naguguluhan.
committee hearing ito sa QuadCom, ang bilis ng trigger happy sila ron sa pagdating sa contempt puno na yata ngayon detention center nila, puno na, may overflow na sa Women's Correctional, sa Bilibid ba or what, sa Quezon City Jail. So meron silang power to cite in contempt, and they've been freely been citing, generously been citing people in contempt. The regular committees ng Senate meron din power to cite in contempt, but a subcommittee wala.
Okay. So do you think this is one of the reasons why you have critics saying Duterte called the shots? He took control of the Senate subcommittee. Do you think that was true? And do you think it's because it was a subcommittee?
No, hindi naman. Even if I had the power to cite in contempt, the question is, would I have exercised the power? I don't think that we have crossed any line to have cited the former president in contempt, di ba? I mean, at saka you do not do that unnecessarily kasi that's why it's a hearing before a legislative body. You know that there is some politics involved. Sometimes the person would want to be cited in contempt, hindi ba? So, ingat din tayo. We don't give in to the plan or to the desire of that person. So but at any rate, that subcommittee has no power to cite in contempt. The point is, okay, the plan was to end at 4 o'clock. We ended at around 7 o'clock. So we had three extra hours. Dharma was not there. Leonardo was not there. Espinosa was not there. So we give it to this witness who rarely makes public appearances or official appearances before government bodies. Let's give it to him. Okay, salita ng salita. Okay, pero ang ano doon is, ang iba kasi na paulit-ulit, siguro mga 3 to 4 times na sabi. Pero okay, let us, because that is also valuable for us investigators to see kung consistent ba yung, even if you repeat something, are you consistently repeating something? So, we will now be convinced that, okay, this is really his stand on this particular issue because he stated it 3 times and the statement is really perfectly the same. So that may value din po lahat yun. But we could have ended it actually 2 hours earlier. Pero since my next commitment got also moved, so that means I had time. So I allowed it. Nandun na siya, sayang.
Okay. But did you feel any pressure? Because at one point in time, you were actually a supporter of former President Duterte. You were a believer. Before the whole PDP Laban issue, you were one of those who supported Duterte early, right?
Yes.
Did you feel that kind of a pressure?
Well, I'm no longer his supporter now. We have a pending case before the Supreme Court. So we have our political differences. We do not communicate. So parang may ano ba yung kasabay, hindi na kami close. Karen. So he has absolutely zero influence over me, especially on the way I think. So when I write the committee report, our past relationship, our past friendship, our past dealings will have zero influence over me. And even but also ito lang dadagdag ko, even our present disputes will also not affect my way of thinking. I will just look at the evidence. I will follow the evidence. Hindi ko sasabihin na guilty itong taong ito dahil nag-away kami sa control of a political party. Ang layo na nun eh. And I'm not that kind of a person. I want to be fair. But what is there? I need to look at what is there. What is the evidence?
Okay. And I wanted to add also, I mean, I think, let's say, not as a journalist, but as an ordinary viewer, It's actually a minus when you have legislators grandstanding, right? So when you watch a hearing, for example, you want to hear, gusto mo pakinggan yung kwento ng isang witness. What you have some legislators, whether in the lower house or in the Senate, they want to take that opportunity to grandstand, di ba? Senator, seeing it, hindi mo na marinig. But what happened is actually with Duterte being allowed to speak, if you ask any ordinary viewer, more was revealed. So if I were to ask you, what kind of information do you believe was highlighted and important that Duterte admitted in the Senate?
Well,
Number one, he admitted there was a Davao death squad.
that there was a Davao Death Squad. Of course, that there were deaths actually perpetrated by the Davao Death Squad. As to who composed, meron siya ibang versions doon. Yun. Kailangan imbestigahan yun. But not by calling him again. He cannot be the source of all information. That's why we really need to do some investigating ourselves. And then number two, siguro I got worried about that he got to teach early in the police officers' professional lives. He got to teach them that early.
Encourage them.
Huh? Yeah, and
Encourage them.
yun na nga. So yan yun. That is now the professor of a fresh police officer. So ang tanong ko, who are screening those who get access as professors to the fresh police officers? They have to be screened. And if they teach that way, that you highlight first what is questionable, sabi na natin what is illegal, for 1 hour you highlight what is illegal, what should not be done, that you do what should not be done, and then the last 10 minutes of the lecture you say that this will all be legal if it's in self-defense. I mean that's somebody should be screening also the professors teaching our police officers.
Okay.
Delikado yun eh. So among others yan, Karen, ang dami pang problema. You see,
and what do you think?
HR,
I wanted to ask you what you thought when Duterte said, yang mga yan, yung nakaupo dyan, yung commander na yan, mga commander yan ng Davao Death Squad. Yan si Bato, Davao Death Squad yan.
Kaya
Right?
nga, in fairness to them, ang natural reaction ko tinignan ko sila kung sino magre-react They were so timid They walang tagtaas ng kamay. So ang ginawa ko, initiative ko, tinanong ko sila, do you want to react? Kasi, I mean, you are really put in a bad light. I mean, you should react. But since they did not want to react, I required them to react. Yung iba, okay lang, parang binabrush aside lang nila. But look, si Catalino Puy, when I gave him the chance, sabi niya, I'm glad I'm given this chance because it's not, I do not confirm that.